I met Lyneil through some mutual friends of ours. You started working with Chris first or Marina?
I met Chris first.
Started with my best friend's husband, and then started working with my best friend, and then he like left a wobbler in my house that I used to like walk around in the house with. I just thought it was funny. He was working with my husband with his ankle surgery, and then I broke this hand, and then I broke that hand, and he totally like fixed this one like brand new, and I like smashed this knuckle so bad I have no more knuckle. I don't know if you can see that, but it's non-existent. So I was like, I chopped off my finger, and I was like, I know just the guy. And here we are. My year of spending 6 months in cast, and my secret weapon over here for recovery is Lyneil. So as soon as I saw that I was able to have my fingers sewed back on, I knew that, Lyneil would be able to get me back to as good as new. So all I care about is making a fist. I don't really care about my hand modeling career, and I can give up the saxophone, but what's
sure
really important.
Relax. Hold.
Yeah, I broke my hand, I'd say probably in the middle of my Wrestlemania main event match. And I was trying to like punch this girl in like safe spots, which is basically the arms and the torso. And just in between switching from arms to torso and arms to torso, I caught her elbow with my pinky and shattered it. And I remember like looking down at my hand and saying like, lumps that weren't supposed to be there. And I was like, God damn it, I keep punching on this hand. Not only did I shatter my knuckle, but then like I did God knows what else to it after I shattered it. Did a little remix for my right hand, and they pretty much had to like smush all of the parts that they could together and put 2 pins in it. And I was really worried I'd never be able to make a fist again. When I took the cast off, I could only do this basically. And now it's all the way back, and I'm super stoked. I think the big difference between healing my middle finger as opposed to my knuckle was I had to deal with an open wound. It was a really big open wound, and I had to deal with a really big infection risk because the bone was exposed. So I had to be kept under observation in IV overnight, and we just had to be constantly wary of infection, constantly cleaning it. It was actually pretty nice that I didn't have to wear a cast. I could have a brace and, have it open to the air and clean it and scratch it. I hate casts. I hate not being able to scratch myself.
So she had a flexor tendon repair, right? So at the beginning, you can't really do certain things. Like you just can't do certain movements, right? Like one, she's not allowed to extend the wrist and then extend the fingers back. So the splint that she's in blocks her fingers from going into this position, right? So if she stretches past this position, it's going to stretch the repair and possibly tear it. Mm-hmm. But what we have to do is be able to get the fingers to flex down and then still be able to extend in a certain range, so the tendons don't get all bound down, and they'll end up getting so tight that you lose the function of your fingers, right? So basically right now for like the first 6 weeks of this whole process, that's all that we almost focus on. So then what we're also focusing on, which we were talking about typically wouldn't happen, I've been making sure that her elbow is strong, or that her shoulder is strong. We've still been working on the other hand, and we've been trying to mix in some balance and core training and stuff too, because we know that the better that you are at the end of the first stage, the better you're going to go to the second and the third stage. When you do this job, that's what you want to be thinking. I don't want to get to the third stage and be like, oh man, I should have been doing this in the first stage. When we're going through this like early restrictive phase, you just have to basically adhere to the guidelines as best as you can, and also hope that you don't slip on a banana peel, or obviously she's on set doing things that are challenging. She had to carry a kid the other day, and there's just a lot of different things, and just in life in general. Obviously, we're out here on a farm, and it's really easy to re-tear this thing early on. But then once we get to the end of the 6 weeks, it's really just about getting our range of motion, strength, and coordination back. And the cool part about working with her, she's already so athletic and coordinated. She picks things up so quickly. The catching thing was a little more challenging, though, right, with the right hand. But so it's you build up and improve the range of motion back to normal. Then you basically, at the same time, you're working on getting all the strength and all the small muscles, the muscles that help to rotate the hand side to side. And you also have a lot of little muscles in between the bones of the hand that you don't think about that actually help all the movements of the finger, and they get atrophied as well. And especially if you're ever going to have to punch something again, those muscles help to stabilize your hand. So we'll have we're already doing with the right hand. We'll have the club bells going and the ball work stuff that we do, working on our grip and our timing and our coordination. And then basically it's adding it into more functional movements, more athletics activities. And that's the process for anything. And it's not really that different between a hand and an ACL. You just have to make sure that you get all those steps